The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and The Tech Insider, David White.
And welcome all to another gorgeous day out here at the headquarters of technical trading and investing. It is TFNN.com. I am your lovable and squeezably soft host, David White, for the Power Trading Hour every day, 2 to 3 Eastern Time. I appreciate you all that listen to me. And I don't know how I could appreciate the people that don't listen to me, because they're not listening to me and when they would not know. So that's it. It's a chicken and the egg thing, isn't it? I can't appreciate the people that don't listen to me, which brings up a wonderful memory. I don't know how many people have not seen it. I read the book twice before I ever saw the movie, and that was Catch-22. If anybody has never read the book even better than the movie, but Mike Nichols made just a tremendous movie out of the backward thinking of government, military types, everything else. But if you really want to open your mind, a great book and certainly a good movie. But I haven't seen that in a while. But I still think that Bob Newhart in the movie was probably the best, if anybody's ever seen the movie. Major. He was he got promoted, and what was he, a lieutenant, and then he became a major. But his last name was Major, so everybody called him Major. And he would only let people see him when he was gone. He'd sneak out the window if anybody wanted to see him, and he'd come back and do his work while no one was looking for him. As soon as someone was looking for him, they could come into his office, but he had snuck out the window yet again. But it kind of made me think about that, just because I've been dealing with our government. If there's any, if I had any doubts that there wouldn't be people lined up like cordwood dead from Obamacare, dealing with the government in the last week, trying to get them a single form, has assuaged any kind of belief that the government won't kill us all. Trying to fax them a form. I did it electronically. I did it through their email web system. I've done it through everything, and everything they tell me is a blank page. So I even went to, I finally found out that, PDFs, they only work with PDFs that were, about 5 years old and older, because, of course, they haven't upgraded their system. And I found out that the fax doesn't quite work, because apparently some new faxes have some kind of new high-res setting so that they can get better quality, and, of course, that doesn't quite work. Did you ever think that just sending an individual form would take 4 or 5 tries? Well, I'm scared to death, because I've seen the government in action. I can only imagine what it's going to be like when there's lives at risk. Speaking of that, it is a kind of a dark day in American history today. We find out that our government lied to us, and at the highest levels. The question is just who decided to come out and start lying to us, and why. My grandmother had a good thing, and she used to say that guy would rather climb a tree and tell a lie than stand on the ground and tell the truth. Why, no one would just say, hey, these guys didn't like us and they decided to attack us. That's it. Why would they dream up some kind of bizarre thing about a YouTube video that only 200 people had actually even seen, draw the attention to it? It's just bizarre. And I'd like to know why they lied, because it seems to me the only reason to lie is, one, you're a congenital liar, or two, there's got to be something far worse that you're trying to cover up. And I guess that's probably the thing that everybody's worried about today. But Senate hearings on Benghazi today, and when some people call, they hang up the phone, and when others, like two his basically heroes in Marines, rushed into battle, that was pretty much it. Normally we're going to discuss a few more things, but we got a first call from Jason in Hawaii, TVIX. How you doing today, Jason?
Yeah, very good. It's sunny here in Hawaii, always same as in Florida.
It certainly is. It's the big thing in Hawaii always is it's just a couple of degrees normally cooler this time of year, and the humidity is always less. But I have to tell people that growing up, we didn't have air conditioning in Hawaii, and we didn't have heat. I remember that like twice a year it would get cold and my mom would open up the oven to heat the house. And that was like 2 days. The oven was the heater for the house, and the other 363 days of the year we just left the windows open.
So I'm using your method of least resistance, the testing of the low with low volume. So I saw that TVIX has been testing the new lows with low volume, and today is looks like it reversed back up.
Okay.
So you think the market is tapping out?
Velocity daily 2x VIX shares certainly looks good. I'm in this trade already, and I think that for me it's like a 6-month trade, because I have a feeling this is when this does reverse, you're just going to want to hang on forever on this thing.
What's the target?
What's that?
What's your target, short term and long?
I'm in a different instrument than this one, but basically you're probably looking, what is this, 253 in this one?
Yeah.
You're probably looking at $12.
$12? Wow.
Yeah. This is, I mean, this standard volatility, these are the trades that may take forever to come around, kind of like natural gas. But when natural gas breaks and when this breaks, these are going to be the trades of a lifetime. They're just going to move, and they're going to move, and they're going to move, and they're going to drive you insane in the meantime. So if you want to sit down and just think about it, but I'll guarantee you there's going to be something. I don't know what it is. It's going to be a 9/11. It's going to be a bank failure. It's going to be something you never thought of hearing before, and it's going to come out of the blue. And this thing's going to bounce back up. Probably the first step for you is going to be up around that $6.17 area, probably high fives, low $6 range. We're going to probably play around in there, and then it's going to go to $12.78. So, yeah, this is, like I said, boy, what are you looking at there? This one's, you're a lot more leveraged than I am on this. But to me, I'm looking at this one. Go ahead.
I just have 10% of my access in there, just as a leverage to hedge my long position.
I think I would just close my eyes. I would just I would put something in here that you don't have to have, and you're willing to sit on for 6 months, because there are a few trades like this. This is like sitting on gold in 2000 and waiting till around maybe even 1999 and seeing the first heartbeats and then seeing this thing move, because this is the kind of trade that it's almost like gold. There isn't going to be a zero volatility market forever, and when this thing does come back, it's well worth it. Like I said, I think certainly within 6 months you could see that 1278. Or even more. I mean, these are the kind of things and these low volatility moves. But unfortunately, you could have been long this thing several times and been short term wrong. But there's just
long term you'll be rewarded.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I would look at this as an investment type trade, or maybe even a non-expiring call on upside volatility in this, but I like it. I haven't watched this one. I'm in a less 1x type trade on this, but this is yeah. I mean,
more risk.
I'd be willing to take. To tell you the truth, I'd be willing to take a 50% loss stop in this. So I'd probably put my stop in it at $1.25 and just hang on. And just close my eyes and walk away.
Yeah, can I ask you about your new software?
Yes.
So you basically try to look for stock that have made new highs but with low volume, right?
Correct.
And does it do the opposite too? Look for new lows with low volume?
Yes. Now, this isn't in my software now. That's a scan that I run at home.
Okay.
And
so
we haven't announced anything, but you might expect an announcement in the midsummer. The software is going to have a lot more features down the road, and we're just not announcing some of them at the moment. Right now, it's all about Gartley's, and since no one else in the world does anything like it, and we'll be seeing it. But if you get my newsletter every day, or you get a 2-week trial of my newsletter, you're going to see a ton of stocks every day that are testing lows on lighter volume. So you might check that out in the meantime.
Okay, all right, thanks.
And I think you can get a 2-week trial for free, or is it 4 weeks? I never can keep up.
You never can keep. That's why I wanted to actually find someone who do that, so I can just look at that instead of me.
Certainly, you can check. You can check my newsletter because I do that already. It's not part of the program at the moment.
Do you look at the wave count, like ABC, or first wave, second wave? The first wave is up, second wave is down, and then
we do Gartley patterns. So certainly.
That's Gartley patterns? Okay.
Yeah. Have you? I don't know if you can do it, but we are having a webinar tonight. We're going to go through it, and there are probably 9 videos. I would look at the Gartley video to give an idea and how that works. So, but there's like 6 or 9.
Later, would that be a replay on the website? TNF?
What's that? The webinar?
Yeah. Will you post it back on later?
I know that the webinars are archived.
Oh, okay.
So I think like the next day they go ahead and put them on there so you can watch it anytime you want.
Okay.
I just don't. Normally they either do it that night or the next day for all the webinars. And I think since this is a free webinar, it will be on your members page for TFNN if you signed up on TFNN.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I guess you're doing a little bit better on your LinkedIn here. It actually rolled down $4 today. So.
I saw the triple doji.
Yeah.
And then it broke it on the next 2 days, so I chickened out. I took the loss.
Okay.
It was the right trade, but I chickened out because it broke the triple doji up before the announcement of the earnings. I said, maybe they do have something. So I just took the loss. I took a loss of 7%, I think.
That's not.
Yeah, it was the right trade. Yeah, I would have made 10%. Yeah.
Good enough. Thanks for the call, Jason.
Thank you. Talk to you.
Okay.
Bye.
Well, we've got about 30 seconds here, so we'll just talk about what will be the news in the next segment. I'm going to talk about FIO that is getting slammed today and why, the SSD company. So we'll be back in just a minute to talk a little bit about them.
TFNN is excited to launch our brand new software charting program, The Art of the Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind software, Art of the Charts allows you to scan for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, butterflies, ABCs, and much more. Art of the Charts is designed to help you when scouring the market for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, and even months searching to find. As part of our introductory pricing, we're offering licenses available at only $59 per month. We're so confident that you'll love this new outstanding piece of charting software that we'll even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Lock in your low price today by ordering your copy at TFNN.com.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pezzamento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Darryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on Chinese stocks, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Mcwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob Mcwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of Mcwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, Mcwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces, and over the next 3 years, Mcwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a threefold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about Mcwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
I want to thank Jason for calling and also remind him and anybody else, if you can't make the webinar tonight on Art of the Charts, then you go ahead and sign up already, and there'll be an email tomorrow stating exactly with a link where you can watch the replay of the webinar. So even if you cannot watch it tonight, go ahead and sign up, and you will get a link for the replay when they have it up and all compressed and archived and everything. Wanted to talk about FIO quickly. They had a bad hair day, and it looks like it could be going lower. Now, was it horrible earnings? No. Was there some news? The answer is yes, and it is the CEO who started the company, a founder just 3 years ago, has bailed. And no one liked this at all. They think it is a sign that there are bigger problems coming. Once you retire as a CEO, you can start selling your shares since you're no longer the inside guy. And that's exactly, he'll still have some limitations of what he can sell in shares. But the idea of having a huge insider with lots of shares out there is all this company needed to hear. And this thing plopped down on monstrous volume. And you can probably see this thing moving down. This was an IPO I never really quite liked. There's a couple of them out there, a couple stocks right now that are you should be very wary of. This is one, and anybody that, especially a founder leaving, guy was a pretty sharp dude, and already made some of his money. He's sold some of his shares already, so we're not going to have a pity party for him. But it's the question is whether or not the board forced him out. He decided to do it himself. Is there an accounting issue out here? And it's probably going to take 6 months and a new CEO and a couple of sets of books for people to find out if there's anything wrong. Just a couple of days ago, there's another stock out here that we need to start warning. FSLR. We need to start warning put the warning bells out for, and that is First Solar. We've had no less than Jim Chanos, and also I can't remember the other guy, but he's the axe on alternative energy stocks. Handles them all, but he's pretty. I'm trying to remember his name. I can't. Indian American. Not Native American Indian, but an American who happens to be of Indian descent. He's got political correctness. Anyway, the warning that he gave and Jim Chanos both say that the books on this thing are most likely cooked. The CEO was an unindicted co-conspirator from Enron. So be a very, very close. This thing took back off once they got this new CEO in, but both Chanos and this other analyst both say the books don't add up. And Enron, the guy was yelling about it for 2 years. He went in statistically showed that the odds of Enron making the kind of money that it made was like a batter hitting 700 over several years. The same guy later on used the same analysis to go after, who was the guy in New York? Can't remember. It looks like Washington that had the giant $50 billion fraud. Anyway, guy, pretty sharp dude, but he's not in on this quite yet. But something really smells out here. That's what hammered it yesterday and today. It's all sweetness and light, but be very careful of this stock. There are some signs that are plainly visible to read out here, and people that are analysts that can get sued don't come out and say this kind of stuff lightly, if at all. In fact, I'm trying to remember the last time someone's used the fraud word for a public company. It is rare, and we've heard about it in Herbalife. But basically, the idea is that it's a pyramid scheme, and that's why it's wrong. Not that their books are cooked. The thought here is that there's no way you can model this company. There's no way that the numbers add up. So be very careful if you are playing on First Solar. Huge short interest, which is a lot of the reason this thing's run the last couple of weeks. But we'll get into another one that's run for a while that also is probably a little fraudulent, in my opinion. We'll be back in a minute.
Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives you Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. With Market Insights, nothing is left to guessing. With the market at record levels, volatility is here, and now is a perfect time to take advantage of a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights. As recently as March 26th, Tom advised his subscribers to liquidate their 4 short-term equity holdings, closing out all 4 positions for a combined 15.9% profit. And on April 1st, Tom advised his clients to sell their longer-term position in AIG warrants, locking in more than a 40% profit in just that one trade. If you'd like to see the kind of newsletter Tom O'Brien sends out to his subscribers each morning, then sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Darryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Darryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at Nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Baby, let me be your love teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck and lead me anywhere. Let me be, oh, let him be your teddy bear.
And we're back with Disco Steve. You can be like Jason and call in at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648. There are stocks out there that always give earnings warnings and or just don't pass the smell test. The last one I really kind of yelled and screamed about was Groupon. That was kind of easy. These other stocks, there's a few of them out here that are a little tougher. Netflix is one of them. Until Netflix tells me what its cost is for all the stuff it signed up for in the future, I have to believe that there's a pig in the poke. In the meantime, can that thing run? Yeah. But for me, it is a huge accounting issue when companies will not come forth and let you know what they're making and what they're not. It's easy to say, hey, I signed up with Disney. Are you going to give them $4 billion a year for the rights to Snow White on streaming? Just how much did you have to pay? Normally, the question is, why didn't they say? Disney's very secretive. They're also very litigious. So I can imagine that maybe Disney put something in there. But I don't know how you invest in a company if you don't know what the cost of goods is. I don't know how you would invest in a gold miner if you didn't know what it cost them to take gold out of the ground. There's got to be some idea that you know how, what they have, how much it takes to get out of the ground, and at least there's some kind of idea of a worth. If not, you might as be trading bitcoins or beanie babies. There's got to be some fundamental value underneath. We can all argue about what it is, but if there's no way to know that there's any fundamental value, almost always a sign that there's something wicked going on. When we look at Netflix, NFLX, you've had two major gaps up in this thing. My guess is that right now you could almost look at a three-gap play. Three-gap play is basically three big gaps up like this is setting up with two already on Netflix. You get one more. And then after that gap, the stock will roll over and come back and fill all three gaps all the way back. So this thing may have one left in it. I'm not shorting it yet. But my guess is that this is a way overvalued stock, probably on the side of stocks that have just monstrous valuations on something that can't really be backed up. So another one that's on my really worried list, and before I get into some stocks, Netflix and First Solar were stocks that had huge prices. They all came down to nothing. Now, what happens when they get down to nothing? A lot of times you get a stock operator. In the case of Netflix, it was Icon. He comes together, he walks into the CEO and starts talking, and he goes, I can get your stock price back up, but I want you to do some certain things. And I want you to do them when I'm telling you to do them. And if it does, we can move the stock way, way high. And, of course, they continue to run a short squeeze and a major operation that has little to do with the fundamental value, but mostly to do with people knowing that it doesn't have any value and continuing to short it. If you've got enough cash, you can, for a while, run a stock. And the best thing to read is Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. Right now, there are a lot of stock operators coming back into the market and pushing stocks around, and one is Netflix. I suspect we have a similar thing going on with First Solar. Probably had a lot of bag holders in First Solar, and the idea was to get this thing up and get it out the door. I don't believe in a company ever where its major competition is 50% or 25% the cost of they are. And solar energy, believe it or not, is still hugely more expensive than electricity from the electric company. And until they are able to get the price down, the longevity of the cells up, and a way to store it, it is not a system. It is a Band-Aid. And, there are people and early adopters that will buy it, even though it's not probably extensive. I want to be there when they actually make the change from being, 200% or 400% more expensive to being on a par where it can actually grow, or even close to it. But it's going to have to get to that level before I'll believe any of these companies are ready to go. What I can see is if you are on the wrong side of this, you love the day that an operator gets involved in a stock, runs it up, gives you the opportunity to get out, and maybe even make some money coming back up to these levels. But we'll take a little look. I wanted to look at stocks making higher highs with a lighter volume, and it looks to me like we've got Citigroup out here. It had come up with a light volume yesterday of 27 million shares going against the 51 million share high on March 1st. Very light volume out here, 24 million shares. Keep a very close eye on this thing. If you're watching on my Power Law Vector Indicator, you can see you had a nice move February 26th up to the high on March 11th at $47.92. And the energy is probably in the range of about 40% more on that leg then pretty much similar like we had from April 5th at 41.60 all the way up to this high we had today. So still, comparatively to the down leg, was the energy way less, now a little less. But I'm looking at that strong move up, which was the true move in this stock. Now, are we going to get some kind of ABC action on this thing? Probably pretty close. Take a quick look here. What is it at? And let me see. Let's try 6 months here. Get the kind of view I'm looking at. I should have one. What's the start of that? $40. Yeah, I guess it came back too far to actually be an ABC. So I'm looking at that. Yeah, it's too far back. So we'll take a look at... there we go. What do you got? Now, it did too much of a retrace for an ABC. I'll look at it later. Anyway, other stocks making highs on lighter volume. Genuine Parts Company up on very light volume. It also it could get the volume in before the end of the day, but another one we're watching, April 3rd high on this, $78.27, and of course we've gone over that today by about a dime, and looks like we're going to close back below it. So Genuine Parts Company, GPC. Other stocks out here that I've been watching, probably the one that interests me most right now is the materials select sector. You've had a high out here at $39.87, January 25th, 11 million shares. Got into it with 8 million shares on March 12th, pulled right back into the trading range. We've had volume of 6 million shares yesterday, and I'm going to have to wait for the full volume here later. But so far, what is that, XLB? I'll take a quick look at the volume today. 3.3 million shares, so still a very light volume out here. We're going to have to get an idea what happens, but 3.3 going up against 11 million shares. Materials select sector, XLB, probably the thing that I'm interested in most. Another one is Western Digital. We talked about a little bit about this yesterday. This thing could be making a little hammer candle. I would like a lot more on the candle, on the wick part than we have here today. But you've been going against a 7.5 million share high last couple of days. What do we have? 3 million, 2.2 million today, 2.3 million. So still a very light volume. And that it. One of my favorite companies out here tried to break out Workday, which is WDAY, and this thing probably looks like it's going to come back to this high volume low, which is at April 10th at 55.25. Not one I'm going to be shorting, but certainly one that looks fairly good. But probably needs to come back about $12 if we could get the market to pull back also. And what do we have? About 200,000 shares light, but it is light. Did pull back into this trading range. Probably going to take a while. May only get $58. A little gap down here, just above $58, $58.25. So you might want to be looking at that. VeriSign, another one of the stocks out here, and what are we looking at? 3.2 million shares. We've got 860,000 shares now. We had 1.2 million shares yesterday, going up against that April 1st high with 3.2 million shares. So another one up here hanging up on very, very light volume. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Other stocks, in fact, I wanted to look at a few of them. JOSB. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. This one was making a pattern. I wanted to see whether it was going to go up, hit this X box. There's another Gartley forming out here on Joseph A. Banks, and that looks like that's going to be a little tough to get what we wanted out of it. There are a couple other ones that looked interesting. OXY. See how that one was forming up. Yeah, it got a little bit rough too. So, let's see if we've got anything here. Yeah, so, we got a few. Anyway, we've got, see what we got. Let me clean those out a little bit. Okay. Yeah. We'll look at some other ones here. Legg Mason was kind of interesting yesterday. This thing had made a little Gartley pattern. Didn't do enough to buy the D point on it, but it also, when I'm looking at it, had been breaking the previous highs and getting into some gaps. But another one on very light volume. Of course, Legg Mason in the broker-dealer space, LM. We have March 21st. 3.5 million shares, even April 11th with 1.4 million shares. Over the last couple of days, 1.4, 960,000. Today, 565,000. So a few of these stocks starting to really look interesting. IRE, which is the Ireland bank, is right in a little, very long-term high volume gap. Let's take a look at it here. This gap, well, pretty much when this thing all blew apart. Get a zoom into this thing a little bit better so we can see it. Had a little gap back here, and that's right at the $10 range. Volumes back in there was about 500,000 shares. So we are actually not bad. This thing looks like IRE, which is the Governor Bank of Ireland. Of course, they took their lumps very often, or very early in after the 2008 housing cycle. It looks like they may be actually coming out of this first, since they did do their austerity, do it right, and now they're back out the other side, where a lot of other folks are trying to do a kind of an ostrich thing. If we just put our head in the sand, everything will correct itself. So kind of interesting on that. Wanted to look at some of the stocks moving today in play. Let's see what we have here. WFM. Had a nice pop, which is Whole Foods. Earnings out last night. Of course, volume and with energy. Would have liked to have seen this thing probably hold up closer to the high out here, which is what, is that 103? Yeah. 103.72 for the high. A lot of volume. The question is whether or not this thing is just going to come back and fill part of this gap as soon as the shorts cover on this thing. But it did go through a gap on pretty high volume. That volume has never been equaled. It came down on the 14th of February with 14 million shares, so it is popping up above it. My guess is this thing is probably going to be back in that $94 range and probably fill this gap fairly quickly unless it gets a lot more volume before the end of the day. Other movers out here, CIA, there's a lot of secondaries being offered right now. CIE is one of them, and it popped down. Cobalt International Energy, CIE is the symbol. A lot of times, if you don't know what a secondary is, after the original IPO, the company will keep the right to add more shares to the float, i.e. liquidate or dilute your holdings by adding more shares. And certainly this one came down fairly hard and strong today on that news. When we come back, we're going to be talking about options, what they tell us about the expiration a week from this Friday. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try patterns, profits, and peace of mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to tfnn.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's patterns, profits, and peace of mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of tfnn.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to tfnn.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of tfnn.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at tfnn.com.
This is expiration, or some people call it Weird Wally Wednesday for, what was his name? Don Wallenchuk, who was a big market timer in the early 2000s. Haven't heard much about the guy for probably 10 years, maybe 10 years, 8 years. Been a long time since I heard about him. He had a real hot streak and was big and famous in Timers Digest until the guy from Timers Digest cut him off because he found out he was making a lot of trades right after the close of the bell to make his numbers look better. Wasn't playing within the rules, and kind of interesting. So, but he was famous for a little while. One thing he did bring up early on, though, and call to everybody's attention was a development that started probably in '98. and that was that option market makers had started buying a lot of computers and programmers. And what they wanted to do is try to figure out when the ideal date was for them to get out and hedge all their options positions so that they didn't run into a big problem. And that date basically came down to the Wednesday, the week before expiration. What and how the options move starting kind of late yesterday, mostly today, can tell you a lot about where the option market makers believe that the broad market, at least the S&P, is going to expire. And if you look at the SPYs, last month I said that there was about a 90% probability of a pullback. It is not quite that good, mostly because we've got a little bit of range between the June and the Mays, but the bias still is down somewhat. Now, we've pulled up about half a point today, and it would suggest that the SPYs would expire a week from Friday around 157. Now, how does this work? Just because it shows 157 today, they track in. That means that if they are pointing at 157 and we're at in the high 162s, most of the time the bias on the options is correct. But it also means that a lot of times they'll meet in the middle. So if we're talking about a 5-point spread, a lot of times you'll get 182 and a half, 190, or excuse me, I'm saying that wrong. You'll get, we got 57. Okay, so we got 6 points. So add 3 points to 157. Let's say that this comes back and meets the middle, so you got 160. So we'd still be 30 points down on the S&P. That the June calls are also showing that we're down at about 155. Suggests that at least the option market makers are planning to see that this market does pull back somewhat. My guess is that we are going to go back and hit, before expiration, 1575 on the S&P cash, and at that point we're going to really know whether everybody comes flooding back into this market and these highs hold. But I think we've got a good chance for pulling back about 50 points, something like that, in the S&P cash, which wouldn't be the end of the world. If you come down on incredibly light volume, then we're probably going to set up for at least a retest of the current highs out here. But right now, I'll be looking at these after the end of the day because they continue to move these options quite a bit. But I'll have more about that tomorrow in tomorrow's show, and on Friday we'll probably have a much better idea at the close what these things are doing. Like I said, they have moved up a point today, so maybe they move up yet another point before the expiration or before the end of the day. But by the end of the day, we'll have a good idea of where at least the professionals think this will expire a week from Friday. See you tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time.